Hello, welcome. This session is the approach to the master symbol, and the next session will explain the kanji and the tool in Reiki. But I'd like, with your permission and patience, to give time to show that you can't use the master symbol as a person, because the master is truth itself. So it's not just a case of knowing a symbol and using a symbol. There is a kind of alchemy that produces access to this dichomio, to the master symbol. So you know already that Honsha Ze Shonen is the elevator for raising awareness, consciousness, from the mixed consciousness that is the identity. There's a mix of the pure life force and the concepts in the brain, to the pure consciousness which lies before the mind puts its interpretations on the life force and the pure consciousness. So Honsha Ze Shonen is the raising of consciousness. So the pure consciousness is actually the master, is truth itself, is this master symbol, dichomio. This is the pure consciousness. So it's necessary to bring these twin powers of Choku-rei and Seihei-ki together and experience this blending of your inward turning power of awareness into awareness, and this knowing that all the things that occur in the mind are products of conditioning by the mind and the society the mind projects, which further conditions the mind. So leaving these things, this is Seihei-ki. So these two powers, when brought together, and Honsha Ze Shonen is this place of recognition of this state of holding these two powers, and then the dichomio, the truth itself, reveals itself. So just to take this slowly for you, because this is the real nub of having truth as yourself, is this understanding. We just take a moment just to use the Choku-rei. So just drawing attention, just this line, sinking attention and circling attention, just like this. Choku-rei, Choku-rei. Chokure. And Seiheki. So just drawing this across. Seiheki. And back. And really just following this. And drawing attention down. And across. And down. And across. And then this scooping out everything left of the mind that we're holding on to in the hidden places, sending it out. And then this Seiki line, just this energy coming down the midline and the two tips of the wave crests. So this brings you to Honsha Se Shonen. Yes, this place where there is palpably felt a meeting. There's a meeting here, and it's like a kiss. It's like an anointing. It's like a blessing. This feeling of these coming together, and then there is just pure consciousness. And in this place here, just remaining. And then this daikomyo comes. This comes. And words cannot put this here. Words cannot show this because it's beyond the mind. So just allowing this just for a moment before moving on. So these things are found the same in the Gnostic Gospels. And with your permission, I'd like to just read to you a little bit about how these things are in the Gnostic Gospels, because it's a great support to see the truth of Reiki expressed as truth by these great masters, by Jesus and his disciples, because their power blends with the Reiki power, like this coming together of Chokure and Seiheki to produce something great, something so great beyond words, the daikomyo. So I should just, like I say, with your permission, read these to you for your joy, or for my joy, for our joy. So Jesus replied, "Make the two into one, and the inner as the outer, and the outer as the inner, the above as below, the male and female into a single one." Though this is in the Gospel of Thomas. And so this two into one is both these two powers of Chokure and Seiheki, the inner as the outer and the outer as the inner, is mm, is this inward turned attention, which then, when everything on the outside is perceived from this inside place, there's no difference. It's just this energy that is seen. And the above as below is exactly the same, is this the mixed consciousness in the personal identity just thins away as this pure consciousness is seen to be your truth. There is just this consciousness, the male and female into a single one. The male is the Chokure, and there's a lot of evidence that and some will be brought for you to show this, that the male energy is this Chokure power of awareness into itself, the inward turning power. And the female is the Sophia, is the wisdom power, which is the Seiheki, which is a lot more subtle tool, a lot more subtle energy, and this energy of having the wisdom to see through the workings of the mind and being on this plane that is beyond the mind, because this is wisdom, because there isn't wisdom in the mind. It works from habit, which is not necessarily wise. So just to move on and say, in the Gospel of Philip it says, it is by the divine kiss of grace that the perfect are reborn. And this divine kiss of grace, this is this coming together and this meeting of these two powers, the Chokure and the Seiheki. They come because when your attention is sunk away from the world and there is this understanding that everything that goes on in the mind is not true, and you just remain with this, then it dawns, a realization dawns, and the moment of realization, it feels like a kiss. It feels sweet. So just moving on to another one from the Gospel of Philip again. It says, none can escape them. These are harsh spirits, for they delay those who do not receive the male and female powers of bride and groom. They are received from the reflected light of the bridal chamber. So these male and female powers are the Chokure and the Seiheki, and the bridal chamber is Honsha Ze Shonen. So there's more on the bridal chamber. This is also from the Gospel of Philip. He says, the bridal veil from the bridal chamber hides how dichomio, which is the translation for the Reiki of God, because it's the same truth, absolute truth, commands its work. When unveiled, this house, the house of the body and the mind, will be destroyed. The true Reiki users, Chokurei, may enter within the veil with the Reiki understanding, the Seiheki. The veil was not open only at the top, for then it would be closed to those below. It was not open only at the bottom, for then it would be closed to those above. It was open from top to bottom, those above revealed to those below, so we could know the mysteries of truth. So just to pause here, this description is the same as Honsha Ze Shonen. There he is describing the approach to truth from the bottom, from the place of mixed consciousness, and then the elevation of truth to the top, to the dichomio, to the truth itself, in a place that is called the Bridal Chamber, or it mentions here the Bridal Veil. And I realize I just missed one out. It says the Bridal Chamber, this is the Gospel of Philip as well. The Bridal Chamber is the image of regeneration. So this is again saying that the energy that is in the person, in the mind, is regenerated, is elevated, the same word, is elevated to the pure energy, to the pure consciousness. So when it says the bridal chamber is the image of regeneration, it is the elevation of consciousness to the pure consciousness, to the truth. So after this little digression, to come back to this from the Gospel of Philip, it says, those above revealed to those below, so we could know the mysteries of truth. Truth is what is held in great respect and is really strong. We enter bowed in weakness. We are humble compared with Daikomyo's great power and glory, because this is entering at the bottom entrance of the elevator in our weakness of believing that we are the body and we are the mind. And then in this bridal chamber, or Honsha Ze Shonen, the elevation comes and this truth reveals itself. And it says, we are humble compared with Daikomyo's great power and glory. This power and glory surpasses all power and glory. Divine perfection is revealed with the concealed secrets of truth. The Holy of Holies opens. We are invited to the bridal chamber. When revealed, the perfect light will shine on all. All those within its rays will be anointed. So this is explaining the purpose of Honsha Ze Shonen, to bring these two powers that are available to humans and the human mind, to bring the two powers which are available, Chokure and Seiheki, to this place of Honsha Ze Shonen, which will raise the consciousness to this awareness where truth, God in Gnostic Gospel terminology, or Daikomyo in Reiki terminology, is revealed of itself. by itself, nothing to do with any person doing anything. And the Gospel of Truth, there's a little last quote for you here. When the dichomio, it reveals itself, it's like this. The dichomio's wisdom meditates on its own word, and its understanding reveals its knowledge, its happening of itself. Yes, patience is its crown, joy is in perfect concord. Its splendor uplifts that which its will has unveiled. So this is saying just the same, that the dichomio itself reveals itself, its own splendor raises this awareness, which of itself, the awareness itself has brought itself to itself. Because what turns inwards in the chakure, it starts off being a person's awareness, but in turning inwards, it recognizes that this awareness that it turns in towards is truth itself, is way beyond the original identity which started to use chakure. Yes, its peace, the dichomio's peace, has taken it into itself. Its love has enrobed it. Its faithfulness has taken it to heart. So here is dichomio, which we will continue, but it is good. I hope you feel so as well. It is good to use the Gnostic Gospels because this understanding has resonated through the centuries, and is a great authority for truth. Same, the Reiki is absolutely an older wisdom. In fact, the wisdom from which Jesus actually learned his teachings in the first place. And there is evidence for this in the Gnostic Gospels. But here in the West, if you do live in the West, wherever you come from, maybe Reiki is a new idea, and the validation of the teachings behind the experience of the Reiki tools well, it's there anyway, but it's just nice to have it validated by these teachings of Jesus, that they are saying the same thing. I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for listening. Namaste.